It was inevitable. It was gonna happen sooner or later. The film got streamed, and now infinite audiences and reviewers are gonna praise it as Pixar's absolute best. Like it's absolute Oscar-worthy. And with my record reaching approximately 6 million COVID victims, my virus is unfortunately weakening. No thanks to that rebellious, second-rate Mustang prince, Joshua Orro. Well, let's see what he has to say about it.
Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Well folks, the newest Pixar movie has been released, and this time they've chosen an Asian-themed coming-of-age film set in Canada as their story. But is it any good? Is it as good as their previous streamed films, which were Soul and Luca? Well, let's find out. Released to Disney Plus on March 11th, 2022, the movie is Turning Red. Now, on for the plot of the movie. Set in Toronto, Canada, between 2002 and 2003, Turning Red centers around Mei-Lin Lee, or Mei for short, a 13-year-old Chinese-Canadian girl who is torn between being her mother's obedient daughter and the chaos of her youth. One morning, she is horrified to discover that whenever she gets too excited or stressed, she turns into a giant red panda and can only transform back if she's calm. Soon, Mei later learns that her ancestors have a shared history with the species as a family curse, and she must try to maintain her new lifestyle as a teenager. So, what do I think of the movie? Well, first let me just say that out of all the Disney Plus films that Pixar has given us so far, this has got to be the absolute best out of all of them. On a scale from 3 to 1, it would be Soul at 3, Luca at 2, and Turning Red at the very top.
Is this a flippin' joke?
But to understand why I love this movie, let's move on to Mustang notes. The movie was directed by Domi Shi, who previously directed the Academy Award-winning short, Bao, and Turning Red is her feature-length directorial debut. The development of Turning Red began in 2018 when she first pitched the idea to Pixar in October 2017, and it took about 2 years to develop the movie. According to Shi, on January 1st, 2019, she planned for the movie to be entertaining and emotional, and it wouldn't be until December 10th, 2020, when the film's title and plot would be unveiled. Also to note, the idea of the story being set in Toronto, Canada, was due to the fact that it was director Shi's home city. As for the animation, well, since this is a Pixar movie, there's absolutely nothing to complain about here. In my opinion, not only does the CGI animation look absolutely flawless, but I also find it interesting that several parts, including the expressions in the characters' eyes, were inspired by Japanese anime. Plus, there's one scene which shows 2D Asian mural animation, which happens when Mei-Lin's mom, Ming, tells her about their family's ancestor, Sun Yi, and how the red panda transformation connects to every female member of their family. Speaking of which, I like that Pixar manages to highlight red pandas for this movie. For those who may not know, red pandas, which were first described in 1825, are small mammals native to eastern Himalayas and southwestern China, and they have a very similar affinity with raccoons and weasels. However, while red pandas are listed as endangered species on the IUCN Red List since 2015, I like that they are protected in all range countries. Also, there aren't too many other animated films that I know about that include red pandas in them. Aside from the ones from Illumination's Sing, there's Kichi from the Jungle Book anime series, and Saji from the Island Princess movie. Another thing that I liked about this movie is the setting in the early 2000s, which was the time of my late elementary age. And during the year 2002, that was the time where I was in my late 5th grade / early 6th grade year at Del Cerro Elementary School, where Miss Peggy Davis, now known as Peggy Dutcher, was one of my closest teachers. And to be quite honest, it was a pretty challenging but fun year for me at the time. I mean, I got to do a lighthouse research project as well as build a lighthouse model. I went on a field trip to the Star of India, and it was also the year that the greatest Disney video game was released. Plus, like during the 1990s, boy bands were at the very top of the charts during the early 2000s. However, one thing I didn't know about boy bands is that several parents were very prejudiced towards them for some reason, which is kind of funny because, due to my experience, I don't think there was anybody who I knew, not even a single adult, who felt, well, offended towards them. And speaking of boy bands, this movie introduces us to one called Four Town, and in my eyes, this fictional band feels very reminiscent to bands like NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. Also, while they have 3 songs that play throughout the movie, in my opinion, the one that sticks out the most is the main song, Nobody Like You. And in my opinion, this song makes me feel very nostalgic, and it makes me want to dance, move, and tap my feet to the music. Also to note, I also find it interesting that this film deals with the aspects of puberty, though it doesn't really directly talk about biological changes. And that's basically all I got for Mustang Notes, so let's move on to the characters and the voice actors who brought him to life. Our main lead, Maylin Lee, is voiced by Rosalie Chiang, marking this as her first film role. To me, Rosalie does a wonderful job, just like Anthony Gonzalez and Ali E. Cravalho before her. As for my thoughts on her character, well, in the beginning, she seems spunky, sarcastic, smart, responsible, obedient, and I like that she's a straight A student. Plus, she likes boys and pop music, and she's also very talented when it comes to speaking French and playing the flute. But after her first red panda transformation, May becomes scared and embarrassed, but thankfully, she does learn to overcome it with some help from her friends. And I like that May becomes very rebellious as the film progresses. Also, I think her red panda form, while adorable, is kind of reminiscent to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or Bruce Banner and the Incredible Hulk, the latter being a subject for next Thursday. Also, unlike Bruce or Dr. Jekyll, May only becomes a red panda when she becomes too excited or when she's under a lot of stress and pressure. May's mother, Ming, is voiced by 5-time Emmy-nominated actress Sandra Oh, who played Princess Ting Ting in Mulan 2 and the silly Doofa in The Land Before Time 13. And I'm starting to get the feeling that she must love being in CGI films since this is the 3rd one she's voiced in already, the previous 2 being Over the Moon, which really needs a Blu-ray release, and Raya and the Last Dragon. Anyway, in my opinion, like Queen Eleanor from Brave, Ming seems like a very overprotective, possessive, strict, and an overbearing mother who relies on May to be her perfect, dutiful daughter. Also, Ming does not approve of May's change of behavior or her new interests, such as a crush or the boy band Four Town. And Ming also believes that May's best friends are a bad influence for her. Plus, I find it very creepy that Ming acts like a helicopter parent by openly watching her at school. And now my favorite characters in the movie would have to be Maylin's BFFs. Miriam, voiced by Ava Morse, Priya, voiced by Maitri Ramakrishnan, and Abby, voiced by Hien Park. To me, these 3 girls are a lot of fun, and they are thick as thieves. Plus, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the part where they inspire May to accept her red panda form, and where they work together to obtain money for concert tickets using red panda merchandise, which also makes May become very popular at school. Other voice actors in the movie include Orion Lee as May's dad, Jin, Tristan Aldrich Chen as Tyler, the film's bully, James Hong as Mr. Gao, the local elder, and Wai Ching Ho as the grandmother Wu. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, Turning Red is a really excellent and nostalgic animated movie, and it's got to be one of Pixar's finest pieces of work. It has superb and fantastic CGI animation, the main character is very relatable, the supporting characters are fun and memorable, the voice acting is phenomenal, the songs by Four Talent are great to listen to if you ever grew up during the early 2000s, and the story gives a great message about teenage adolescence and growing up. And so, with all that said, I give it the highest rating of 100%. I know I'll be first in line when it's released to Blu-ray this summer. I hope. And now, let's see what Pixar is going to give us next. Wowie zowie! A Toy Story spin-off centering on Buzz as a real space ranger? Well, I really hope it gets a theatrical release. Please, Pixar, please give it a theatrical release. Well, anyway, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for my next blog, Mustang Power.
Curse that stupid autistic nag! Must he interfere with my plans to make this obnoxious planet a miserable place? Well, I may not be able to kill him myself that easily, since he's gotten a lot stronger since the last time I encountered him. But I should find a backup plan before I lose my power over my bats. Just you wait, Mustang Prince. Just you wait.